And I don't know if I've ever seen an RV quite like this one, but wait till you get a load of this.
Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV. At your request, last time I got a hold of a couple Vibe RVs, folks said, man, we kind of like what we saw here, so I thought I'd get you some more. This is the 25RK model, and it's different. I've seen RVs that kind of have little bit of pieces of this, that, and the other thing, but like the way that they kind of put the entry door in the middle between the entertainment center and the kitchen, it really kind of creates like, even though it's a single room Super Slide RV, there's a very clear definition of kitchen and living room. And it's got a literal like walk-in pantry-tainment center. It almost reminds me of Seinfeld. Every time I look over there, I expect to see Kramer bust through the door with his goofy haircut. The RV is about 7,500 pounds total max loaded and just under 30 foot tip to tail. So there is some very real potential here for things like state park friendliness, like half-ton towability, some very good factors going into this one. One of the few black eyes I think it has is that it does have a Camp Queen bed. I think there's room for a True Queen in there, however. We're looking at one today that they're a little aggressive with the name, the Camp Anywhere package. Well, it's a 200-watt solar package and a battery and a 30-amp controller. It's respectable, but I don't know if it's Camp Anywhere. Maybe it's Camp Anywhere, but not Glamp Anywhere. You're not going to run the air conditioner and the microwave and stuff like that. Bellies enclosed, power corner jacks all the way around. A sleek-looking color scheme through this thing all the way through, too. I'm kind of curious to know what you think about this one, and if you like what we're doing for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like our video. And let's I don't know. I was gonna try to make a vibe pun. Instead, I just failed. And when you only have so much room to play with, you know, manufacturers, they start looking like each other after a while. And, you know, Vibe certainly has some floor plans that we will say are inspired by some other brands. A little bit of RV R&D, rip off and duplicate, but frankly, there's not a manufacturer alive that doesn't have a measure of that. This floor plan, though, is a little bit of an interesting glimpse into what happens when they just kind of venture out on their own, and I like it. This, I feel, is a significant step forward from what they were doing last year. Now, we're carpetless, we're ventless, and the slide floor and the main floor match. That's my favorite way of going about things, and that is a very pet-friendly way to go right there. Easy cleaning as well. These are a 6'9" ceiling, which also really opens everything up in the light color palette. Man, this RV, it's 30-foot tip to tail. It feels much bigger. I don't know exactly how they pulled that off. I've got some ideas I got to look at, but I mean, they did a good job there. Central air running through this thing. I believe these are 30-amp service, only single air. And they put a 50-inch Jumbotron straight across from the theater seat here. Now, whoops, sorry, it was further back than I thought. One of the things that's less obvious about this is that it is downward angled a little bit, which is great because it's still, you know, you're looking up pretty high. You know, what do you think about the idea, like if they brought it down a little bit and then they kind of split that cabinet and put a little bit of storage above the TV? I feel like that would still get the job done and it would just be easier viewing. But from the theater seat, this is kind of your view right here. While it doesn't have awesome campsite window coverage directly in front of the theater seat, at least it has something, and a lot of things in this size and class, whether it's a rear bathroom or whatever, they very rarely have any window coverage on the door side of any significance, maybe a tiny kitchen window. And this does that, certainly, and then some, I think, my 2 cents anyway. Now, this is all sealed edge thermal foil countertops. Those have become fairly industry standard, although not every brand still does them by default. One of the very few things I think I'd change right away on this is I'd get rid of those knee-knock and dinette legs. I'd swap that out for a set of free-floating folding legs. And you can get those things off Amazon in, I don't know, 2 minutes with a screw gun that you have at home. You could take care of all that. Now, this is kind of interesting. If you're familiar with this channel, you might see where this shares a little bit of DNA with like a Salem and a Wildwood travel trailer. They do the same thing here with they have these big panoramic windows that don't open for airflow, but the slide side windows open for airflow. And what do you think about the way they did the window treatments in this? I like it. I instead of those kind of boxy things that always end up seeming to get busted, I think that just, it looks good, and I don't think you're going to break it. We got a big 12-volt DC compressor fridge back there, and we don't even have to close the slide for me to tell you looking at that. you're going to lose the fridge in road mode transit function. So I guess kind of keep that little detail and widget in mind. Overall, though, see, the thing is, like, if you look at, like, a lot of brands call it, like, a 26 rear bath or something like that, the kitchen's always shoved up into a corner and it's garbage. Now, this is a corner kitchen, sure, but somehow they came up with more wall space for this thing, and it's creating more cabinet space, more room for drawers, and more usable, reachable, functional countertop kind of space. Although manufacturers still seem to think that bacon grease does not go sideways, and they are wrong. Wait a minute, why is that a dead panel? I wonder if there's something back there inside the back of the RV. Like, there might be some plumbing back there, because otherwise that should be functional storage. But obviously, in this case, there's not. I'd like to believe there's a reason. Maybe when we step outside in the RV, we'll kind of see that. The skylight up here also makes the whole RV look and feel a little bit bigger. And if you first walk in the door, this is kind of your view right here. It's interesting because I feel, again, like the kitchen is very well defined in the back of the RV. You walk in the door, you go left, it's kitchen. You walk in the door and go right, and it's living room. And there's something about the way that they executed this that it really feels defined for me, even though it's just a, generally speaking, one room, open, super slide, you know, kind of RV. It's sort of working for me. Now, that big pantry that we're about to crack open by the door could also make for an awesome shoe closet or garage or something like that. One of the other things that's kind of neat in here, though, there's a motion-activated light in that, so it'll just sort of kick on when you need it. Now, they went with more storage below the TV because the furnace is located under that storage, so they didn't have an opportunity there to put like an electric heat and fireplace. I don't know. What's better? More storage or an electric fireplace? You know, fireplace costs a little bit more money. Storage doesn't really cost more money, and either way, you're getting a different function. So I guess what's the right way for you to go? Overall, I'm pretty happy with the total kitchen storage capacity in this one. The dinette naturally can fold down into a sleeper, and today we're looking at a very cuddle-compliant like love seat style theater seat. Instead of a fixed, hard, rigid armrest, evidently, somebody at Vibe must like hanging out next to their significant other because there's not a big, you know, thing in between the two of them. Although I suppose you could always, like, you know, wedge a piece of Luan between you and someone else if you do need that space and that separation. Now up front here, you might notice they got a little bit of that peekaboo, I smell you bathroom door with a little gap at the top there. Working our way in the bathroom. Once again, no floor vents, so nice little sanitary function right there. And overall, I thought that toilet was pretty functional. Porcelain foot flush, I didn't have any sort of issues on that. Now, looking at the linen cabinet space here, since this is a nice wide cabinet, I'm especially happy that they didn't leave that open face. And you might note a single drunken octopus looking for a fight over there on the right, also willing to hold your, you know, your towels and your garments, I suppose. Now, the headroom in the shower, oh yeah, was great. It is a radius shower, though, so it might be a little bit of an elbow bonker. You want to make sure you face straight toward that corner, like where the knobs are, or if you face the shower door while you're, like, reaching your elbows up to soap your head up. So that's just kind of a handy little pro tip from your old Uncle Josh right there. That was a full medicine cabinet mirror, by the way. Just about done with our inside stuff. Let's head up here into the bedroom. I mentioned when the video began, this is a Camp Queen. And I know that that's, a lot of people are not really enthused by that. If you look at this, there is definitely room for a true queen in here. If you go with a true queen, you're going to do the butt scoop boogie to get around the bed, but the fact is, you absolutely could do that. TV hookups on the wall here, opposing the bed on the upper right. Notice you have the same blackout roller shades on the windows in here, and they are doing a really good, actually, like two-tier, oops, sorry, didn't mean to jerk the camera around there, headboard power pocket kind of situation. I love that arrangement. There is also, if you look closely, an extra little side pocket kind of sort of half hidden under there. I think that they did a really good job executing that feature. Now you've got, you know, unobstructed full-length hanging closets on both sides of the bed, and we do have storage over the bed. It's not just a shelf, but if you take note here, it is what I call the gravity closed doors, where they just absolutely fall on themselves automatically. You don't actually, there's nothing to hold them up on their own. I wonder, are there any DIY solutions beyond just adding a strut or something like someone's come up with on that might work? And those little storage totes under the bed, Those things act like dresser drawers. Those are super handy. I don't know that I love the solar charge controller location, especially with the bedspread in the way, which makes it hard to do what I'm doing. It kind of feels like maybe that should sort of be in the living room or something. I know some people really don't like extra light displays in their bedrooms in the evening. At least that is down low, and it is facing away from the bed, so I don't think that'll disrupt anybody's sleep patterns. And I'm not sure how the road mode's going to play out on this one. I'm thinking we're going to lose the bedroom, but let's find out. And that's about what I thought. When that super slide closed up, I thought I was going to get interestingly tight in here, but I was hopeful. So I left the bathroom door swung all the way open. And if you're a little bit of a skinny mini, you might be able to slide through here. I think if I suck in my dad bod gut, I might be able to make it. What I don't know is, yeah, I don't think it's realistic for you to squeeze through that gap to get then around the slide fascia from the bathroom into the bedroom. Maybe my little toddler niece could do it, but if she got up there, there'd be no way I could ever reach her. But now, facing the other direction, with the entry door coming in right next to the kitchen, you can stop in here and, you know, you can get to your sink and stuff, but once again, without opening up the slide, the refrigerator is flat lost. So I know that these were deal-breaking factors for some people that we just covered here. And I get that. I respect that. I think that this is not an RV that's going to be very travel-friendly in that regard. Now, for just getting it there, if it's just going to be a one-day drive, you got the wide stance axles, we're only 30 feet, we're not too heavy. It's not hard to get around. It's just not super functional until the slide's open. Different RVs made for different purposes, but that's also the thing that made this floor plan possible. So every RV's greatest asset is also its greatest liability, I think. And I just want to put that out there so that you can make your best and most educated decisions, and I hope you appreciate the effort. And I tell you, just like the inside, I think the outside has some pretty smexy curb appeal too here. It's just, again, an opinion. If you don't like blue, you might disagree. I don't know. Now, looking at the weights and the measures here, you've got respectable cargo capacity given the size of the RV. It's just under 30 foot tip to tail. Maximum loaded weight is going to be 7,500 pounds. So, generally speaking, late model tow package half tons, I think you've got some real potential here. Now, I just eyeballed something that I know is not going to be a fan favorite feature right here. And I kind of wondered about this because you've got a kitchen all the way in the back and then a bathroom in the middle. You do have two sewer outlets. Almost fell down. You've got one all the way in the back, then you've got one over here in front of the slide. I don't really see where there's any tank poles buried under a slide, though, so that's a positive thing. The underbelly there, it is enclosed, it is heated. It's not a Magic 4 Seasons camper, but unless it's going to get below freezing and just stay there for a while, you're going to be okay here. It does have full big pass-through storage, and it's almost kind of funny because the baggage door that you're looking at right there, that is what most manufacturers call the big door. But they don't use the same size baggage door on both sides. The thing is, their small door is still the big door that most brands use, and then they've got a big door. So you've got the big door, then you got the big door. That's the technical way of saying it. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to do about that. But this kind of, in a way, it makes sense to me, because if you are going to get in and out of it, it is going to be this side probably more often than the other. So they are giving us the largest accessibility point here. I do like when things match, but I mean, they're going above and beyond. I'm not going to ding them and give them negative points for doing something a little bit better than almost anybody else does. So, you know, good on you guys. Good job. Four-corner power stabilizer jacks, power tongue jack, power awning. That awning is a bit of a disappointment. I mean, the awning, there's room to have brought that awning forward a little bit closer to that bedroom breeze window. I do like that that is tinted, by the way. Ooh, some outside TV hookups right above those wide stance stability axles here. If you're not familiar with that, that is a system that does take a lot of the bounce and wiggle jiggle out of your roller quaking equation right there. And apologies for the little magical musical tone. I've got a phone call coming in. They will have to wait just a moment. We are doing video work here, folks. That is a anti-slam door, by the way, right there. And back here, we've got ourselves a little mini camp kitchen. Remember that L-shaped chunk of the kitchen countertop? There was nothing you could really do with it. Well, they opened it up out here, and what slides out is a little kind of, you know, I call it like the dog dish style sink. It's not a sink with a real plumbing drain into it, but also integrated into that is an induction cooktop, and that slides off to the side. So if you're over here cooking something, you don't have the hot thing potentially burning you as you try to reach into Dad's medicine cabinet. Sliding around my way over here. On the back, there is a little cold water sprayer port over there. You may have noticed a couple things of plastic inside the sink. That's the coily hose and the little garden hose sprayer head. Now you have that cold water sprayer port for the little camp kitchenette thing, but you've also got a hot cold outside utility shower in the bottom left next to that taillight, along with black tank flush and your city water connection. Then, in the upper left corner, they did something they were lacking last year, and I'm glad to see it. They are prepped and ready for one of those telescopic removable ladders. They've had a walkable roof, you just never could really get to it. And, you know, for seasonal maintenance and upkeep, when you read a manufacturer's, you know, owner's manuals and they tell you that you have to perform periodic inspection and maintenance of your roof, and then they don't provide you a way to do that, it just never sat well with me. If you look up top, you see that tall, thin toothpick window in the middle of the screen. That's where your solar panel on this one's located. It's a 200-watt panel. I think previously they were only doing 100 watts, so that is a nice little nudge in the right direction. I feel like 200 watts is like a respectable minimum base level factory solar, but I don't know. What do you kind of think in that regard? So again, let me know what you think about this. There's links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And normally I would say similar floor plans, and there's some other things-ish out there, but I've never seen one exactly like this. I've seen the Stratus that's close, but never exactly like this one. I like it. I like it because a lot of your super slide rear kitchens like this size have crap for counter space, and this one doesn't have that shortfall. Like, I think it's a good camper. I really do. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think about it? Let me know. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.